Okay, here's the tea. My whole goal with creating content on social media is to be authentic and show everybody that life isn't just all sunshine and rainbows all the time. There was a major part of my life and my transformation and my growth within this past year that I have not spoke about at all online. My intention with making this is not to trauma dump at all, but more so just to tell my story and show that it's possible to literally go from the lowest point to the highest point within a short span of time. My life started to spiral in about November of 2022. Not even gonna cap, it was for one reason. It was because I was in a relationship that wasn't healthy at all. I'm comfortable talking about this now because my life has completely changed for the better. This was a year ago at this point. So unfortunately, this relationship was with somebody that I worked with, and I'm not going to talk about the span of the relationship. I'm not going to bash this person. I am going to skip to the end. So basically, I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't do the drama at work. I was so unwell mentally. So it was my personal life constantly getting brought into the workplace, and I was not performing well at work. I was constantly crying at work. There was arguments at work. It was just a hot mess, and I couldn't take it anymore. So I quit my job. I had no backup plan. I had little bits of income here and there from social media. I had been applying to nannying jobs. I didn't find one yet. I just could not take it anymore, so I had to leave the job. There was one night that I remember, and we had gotten in a really bad argument, and I said a prayer. And prayer had not been something that I really ever did. Throughout my life, I've always believed in a higher power, whether I called it God or the universe. I always knew there was some type of something out there. But I was never strong in my faith. I never opened a Bible. I never resonated with a church. I just knew that there was a higher power, and that was about it. I tried to walk away from this relationship multiple times. He tried to end it a couple times. One of us would always come running back to the other. And this night, I was just so unwell. I just felt drained. I felt empty. I was just unwell as heck. I said the prayer that if this person is not who I'm meant to be with, please remove me from this situation. I had no idea that that prayer could work like that. Fast forward a couple days after that, he had actually initiated that he thinks it might be best if we just end things. Both of us had been trying to do that multiple times towards the end, but this time when he tried to do it, it was kind of just confirmation that my prayer was answered, because I had basically asked for a sign that if it wasn't meant for me, to remove me from it, and he was just straight up telling me the answer to my prayer. So I dipped. No. And I get it. You may be thinking, girl, how delusional could you possibly be? Listen, I was delulu in this relationship. Like they say, love is blind, but manipulation of your emotions makes you blind and brain dead. Like basically no sense of reality. Some of you may understand that, some of you may not. If you've been through the situation, I'm sure you get it. But the hot and cold thing becomes so normal that it's so easy to get sucked back into it, even if there was 1,000,001 signs showing that you should not be with the person. So in all honesty, if I hadn't said that prayer and been seeking an answer from God, I would have continued to be delusional. One thing about God is that he will continuously hand you the same lesson over and over and over and over again until you learn the lesson that needs to be learned. Unless you put that in perspective, you will not see it. So of course there were so many points within the span of this relationship that I should have realized that this was not the person for me, but because my brain was so foggy, my vision was so blinded, it wasn't until I saw an answer from God that my vision actually became clear and I kind of snapped back into reality, if that makes sense. The conversation about us ending things had happened the week that I left the job. So I was done at the job and our relationship was done. It was like almost immediately after I quit, we broke up basically. So I was unemployed. I was definitely very stressed about money, I was every single day on my laptop applying to jobs, trying to figure out what I was going to do. It was a very stressful time. And it wasn't a short time either. This time that I went unemployed lasted for 4 months straight before I secured a job. Whew, it was a lot. But everything happens for a reason, you know. I am so grateful for that time that I did spend without work because it gave me so much time to actually heal and just reflect and cope in the correct ways. So about a month into being unemployed, I was still at a very low point mentally. I was so unwell. I was just trying to process everything that had happened, just understand the entire relationship, trying to see what lessons I could learn from it, everything, all the jazz. I was healing. Through all of this, my roommate had been consistently going to church, and I never really felt any type of interest in going with her. I never had consistently gone to a church. I never resonated with a church in my entire life, basically. But I noticed that she had been going, and it had been making her feel happy and good. Every single Sunday she would come back from church and she would be in such a good mood. And at that point that I was at mentally, I couldn't even remember the last time that I had felt that good and had a genuine smile on my face. But I saw that it was making her genuinely smile and glow, and I was like, I need that in my life right now. I need Jesus. So I went with her one Sunday. It was so random, so spontaneous. The sermon was all about healing and forgiveness, and it was just insanely accurate as to what I was going through in that moment. It felt like God was literally speaking to me, which he was. So at this point, I so deeply start seeking a relationship with God. I want to build my faith. I want to know him. I want to learn all about this church. I want to learn all about everything. I want to know everything. So while I'm trying to heal myself spiritually and build my relationship with Jesus, I'm also thinking and reflecting every single day, because I had all the time in the world since I was unemployed. Why the did I attract this relationship into my life? Thinking and reflecting almost every single day on how I can become a better version of me, a more confident version of me. I'm just going to be straight up. Your relationships reflect what you think your worth is. And the fact that I ended up in a relationship like that was just showing me so clearly that my self-esteem and my self-worth was just not there. I had very false confidence. I'm confident in my looks, but the internal confidence was nowhere to be found. So I started just thinking of ways that I needed to better myself, because I never want to end up in a relationship like that ever again in my life. So not only was I learning who Jesus was, but I was also learning who I was and who I had been majority of my life. I started learning so much. I started journaling so much about myself and just reflecting on past decisions that I've made in relationships and friendships in life. I started watching so many YouTube videos, majority videos on divine feminine energy and learning how to become the most confident version of myself, how to truly learn how to love myself outside of just doing simple self-care practices. I was going in on this healing journey. I took full advantage of that breakup. So these two areas of healing helped me go from low to high. Like, my life has transformed so much. I am just genuinely so grateful for the amount of growth that I have undergone and the amount of growth that I will continue to undergo. But when you're going through a hard time, first of all, seek Jesus. He is the only one that will fully be able to heal you. And second of all, self-reflect. When you take the time to actually learn about yourself with Jesus by your side, like, you will become unstoppable. I'm telling you, I have never felt so at peace and so good in my life. And it's crazy because when I was in the midst of that relationship and just in a really, really low place in the beginning of the year, never did I think I would evolve into this version of myself by the end of the year. And when you're evolving and when you're growing and you're healing, it doesn't just end, it keeps going. So I know I'm just going to continue to get stronger and stronger and better and better. And there's obviously going to be hardship, but now I know God, so it's never going to reach that point again. And now I know myself, so it's never going to reach that point again. If you happen to be going through the same situation that I went through, I want to remind you that you're in control of your life circumstances. To a certain extent, of course. If you are involved in some sort of toxic relationship or you're struggling to be strong in your boundaries, I want to remind you that it's okay to care about someone and also simultaneously set boundaries for yourself and your own well-being. Another reminder is that healing is a choice, and the way that you heal is also a choice. You can let time pass and heal through things that won't necessarily heal you, but you're gonna have more work to do later on, and you're gonna keep getting the same lessons handed over and over and over and over again to you. I'm gonna be creating a lot more content that reflects obviously who I am now. I want to start making more advice videos since I've been through it and got myself out of it, thanks to the Lord. I just felt like I didn't know what the heck to make this past year. I spent the year working my booty off, doing internal work and also going to actual work. I ended up going from being unemployed to having actually 5 jobs at once. So it was a lot. I've been working. That's all I've been doing. But this year I plan to just experience life more and actually put a lot more effort into my YouTube and my content. Thank you again for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. No, I'm kidding. Bye. That's the end of the video.